Hey guys, today I'm going to be taking you through a flow designed especially for runners, triathletes, or anyone that really feels as though they want to stretch out through the lower body, the shoulders, all those places that typically get pretty tight when we're doing a lot of these kind of endurance activities. It's really tempting as a teacher to encourage people that run or do these sorts of things to take a yin yoga class where it's very, very still, because we want to help you get into the real deeper tension that's being held within the body. But of course, when you're used to doing something quite intense, it can be pretty challenging to find stillness. And so with this video today, I wanted to offer a bit of movement, a bit of flow, but we'll start with that movement and then we'll linger around in some of the places that might be a little bit tighter. If there's something that feels really good during the practice, then feel free to hang out there a little bit longer. You can't really overcook it as long as you're really paying attention to your body. And equally, if something feels really tough, then ease your way in. There's no forcing, there's no fighting, but I'll guide you through and I hope you enjoy the practice. So the first thing that you're going to do is come onto your mat. I've grabbed a strap. If you don't have a strap, then you might want to grab a belt or a towel or something, particularly if you're tight in the legs, it might come in handy a little bit later. But we'll just pop that to one side for a minute, and the first thing that I want to do together is just take a couple of moments standing on the mat. Maybe you've just come in from a run and you've got kind of all this crazy energy going on in your body, or maybe you've just woken up this morning and turned this on for the first time. But wherever you are, whatever it is that you're arriving to the mat with, let's just take a moment to tune in. So make sure you've taken your shoes and socks off, you've got bare feet, and you're just going to come and stand on your mat or on your carpet, wherever it is that you are, and close the eyes. And with the eyes closed, just keep the knees nice and soft and start to rock forwards and backwards, maybe side to side. Just get a sense of the surface of your feet connecting to the floor, the earth beneath you. And lengthen through the back of the neck. So we often have a tendency to arrive chin first into whatever it is that we're doing. See if you can drop the awareness backwards slightly, almost as though you're leaning into the space behind you. And just let the shoulders soften away from the ears, and you can begin now to scan the body. As you stand here, starting to connect more consciously to the support of the earth, to the support of the space around you. What can you notice? Maybe it's something really obvious like the temperature of your skin to begin with. Or maybe it's the rise and fall of the breath. Maybe it's that one of your legs feels a little bit tighter, shorter than the other. Doesn't matter, it's all just starting to build this picture of what it is that you're arriving to the mat with today. And start to find a breath, a natural pattern of breath, but close the mouth, maybe lick the lips. Close the mouth and breathe through the nose. And let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Let the chin drop back and down. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And then as you inhale, you're going to root through the feet and raise the arms over the head. Catch hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Root down through the outside of the left foot and take a little side bend. You can shuffle the hips to the side. Try not to stick the hips forward. Just keep the spine level. And then using an inhale, come back to center, swap the wrists. We're connecting everything with the breath. So exhale to take it over to the other side. Good, inhale, come back to center. And swap it over, one more on each side. And again, if this feels good, then linger here for a little bit longer. You don't have to move on just because I do. Swap it over, use an inhale to create length. And exhale to the side. And then inhale, coming back to center. You're going to soften the knees. Interlace the hands behind the back. So you make an interlace with the fingers. The knees are soft. Root down through the feet and roll the shoulders back and down so you begin to open up through the chest. Don't know about you guys, but when I run, I notice, especially if it's cold outside, that my shoulders start to creep up by my ears. So just begin by letting the shoulders drop down. Let the fists drop away from the sit bones. Breathe into the front of the body, and the eyes can be soft or maybe they're closed. Nice. Take an inhale in. And as you exhale, begin to fold forwards, letting the hands come over the head if that's where they go. And ideally, you work the palms together, but if, like me, you're tight in the shoulders, you might find that leaving a little bit of space there is necessary. The knees are soft, so you're not locking out the knees, but as soon as we start to lock out the knees, the hamstrings act as handbrakes. So let's just be soft. Let's let the back of the body be open. Nice. And then releasing the hands, just bringing them in front of your toes. This one's a little bit of a cruel one to start with if you tighten the hips. You're going to start to sink the hips down. Stay with your breath. Now, if this doesn't work for you, you can place cushions or blocks underneath the heels or underneath your sit bones. But you're going to try and drop your sit bones down, lengthen the chest, extend through the front of the body. Try to imagine that the spine is lengthening in both the front and the back of your body. The back of the head lifts up. And maybe you sway gently from side to side. Good. If this feels way too much, then ease your way out. And then placing your hands to the floor, lift your hips. You're going to heel toe your feet a little bit wider. And just start to rock from side to side, bending your knee each time. So just bringing a little bit of connection between the movement and the breath. So the hands can stay on the floor. Try to keep the back of the body long. Inhale to center and exhale to the side. Inhale to center. And exhale to the side. Moving as slowly as the breath. And then eventually you'll come back to center. Take the hands onto the thighs. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Take a deep breath in. And a big sigh to release. Good, and then push through the feet to straighten the legs. We're going to turn to the top of the mat. Stepping to the top, but keep the knees soft. So especially if you're tight through the hamstrings and the back of the body, as soon as we lock out the knees, we start to really kind of engage in the places that we want to release. So there's a micro bend in the knees here. And that softness allows us to kind of feel into the body a little bit more as well. So it's a good place to be. As you inhale, root down through the feet and take the arms over the head. Exhale, scoop your belly and fold all the way down. Remember, the knees can be as soft as you need them to. Looking up on an inhale halfway, so the fingertips can stay on the floor or they can come onto the shins. Or if you have blocks, you can use blocks, but try to keep the back of the neck long. Good, and exhale, fold back over your toes. 2 more of those, root down through the feet as you inhale, rise up and look to your thumbs. Exhale, fold forwards, palms to the earth, frame your feet. Looking up on an inhale halfway. And exhale, folding over your toes. Use your breath. Inhale, root through the feet, rise up. And exhale, fold all the way forwards. Looking up on an inhale. And exhale to fold. This time's a little different. As you inhale, raise the arms over your head, look up to your thumbs. And exhale, fold forwards, bring the palms down to the shins or to the floor. Halfway lift on an inhale. And exhale, plant your palms and step back to a downward facing dog. So again, soften through your knees. The aim here is to lengthen the spine rather than get the heels to the floor. So soft knees. See if you can create a little bit of space through the spine. And try not to think of your hands as isolated from the rest of your body. So as you root down through the hands, feel this kind of rib hand arm, so that the ribs are connected to the hands through the arm, like it's working as one part, so that you're fully supported as you broaden through the back of your body. And maybe you find a little bit of pedaling through the knees if that feels good. Maybe you can drop the hips from side to side. Just taking a little bit of time to ease into the pose. And then let the knees drop down to the floor. Keep your toes tucked, but you can move your knees a little bit wider. Push through the hands and start to push your hips back so that you begin to feel an opening up through the toes. Now this might be enough for you here, but if you want more, you can take the hands towards the knees. And a disclaimer here, this probably isn't going to be too comfortable, but bear with me. Promise it's good for you, otherwise I wouldn't suggest that we do it. So all of your toes are tucked under. You can separate the heels slightly so the little toes are also getting a bit of a stretch. But we have this connective tissue, fascia, that runs all the way through the body, and it's all very well working to open up our hips, our hamstrings, but really we also want to get into the really knotty, gritty bits, which are in our feet as well as other places. So again, just letting the head drop back. And if it's too much here, then you can place the hands on the floor, or you can be where we were before, using the whole of the arms to kind of ground you, connect you to the earth. Nice. And then bringing yourself onto all fours. Untuck the toes and just lightly tap the tops of the feet to the ground. And then sitting back onto your feet. Now be mindful of the knees here. It's usual to get a little discomfort through the tops of the feet. You can always pad with a cushion or a towel or a blanket. You're going to walk your hands back and just peel the knees away from the floor. If that's what happens, it might be that you get enough of a stretch through the front of the ankles by just being here. But maybe you begin to peel the knees off the floor and just be soft through the jaw. If you get any sharp sensation anywhere, but mainly the knees, then back out. You don't have to be here if it doesn't work for you. Take another breath in. And then place the shins back down, bring yourself onto your hands and your knees. And find that support, hands to rib cage, hips to feet, so that no part of your body is working in isolation. And then gently tucking the toes and slowly make your way up into a downward facing dog. Gazing to your belly button, take an inhale and paint the right toes to the sky. As you exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Scoop your belly and step the foot between the hands at the top of the mat. If it doesn't go in one go, you can use your hand to help it through. And then drop the back knee down. Untuck your back toes, and before we go anywhere, find this magnetic kind of pull between the right heel and the left knee. That's going to help to switch on through the inner thighs. So as we begin to track the right knee forwards and explore the space in front of the right knee, just be mindful that you're keeping the lower back long. So squeeze your inner thighs together, and maybe the hands stay on the floor, or perhaps you float them up over the head. You can interlace the fingers, releasing the first finger to the sky. Shoulders drop away from the ears. And just be here with your breath. As soon as you start pushing forwards through the belly, draw it back in, find support, back out a little bit. There's no rush to be anywhere. Take an inhale in. And as you exhale, send your hips towards your heel. Peel your right toes towards you. And the hands can come onto the floor. You can keep your hips lifted, or you can drop all the way back onto the left heel. But you're trying to find a sensation, a stretch through the back of the right leg. Good. With your next inhale, come forwards, press into the right foot. Take the hands either side of the front foot, tuck your back toes, and rather than thinking of lifting the knee, extend through the left heel, and that will straighten the leg, lifting the knee from the floor. Rooting down through the right foot as you inhale, come through a high lunge. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Good. Take an inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the right leg. Now from here, you might want to take a slight step forwards with the left foot. You're going to pull up through the right thigh and maybe heel toe the right foot to the side slightly. Scoop your belly and begin to fold over the right leg. So again, blocks can be useful here. It can be handy to put your palms onto blocks, or maybe you can reach for the floor. If neither of those are options for you right now, then you can keep the hand on the hip. We want to avoid pushing back through that right knee and instead use the right thigh to lift up. And then imagine you're trying to lengthen the rib cage away from the pelvis. Good. Folding over the leg, plant your palms. On an inhale, reach the right leg all the way up and back behind you. And as you exhale, place the foot down to the floor. Other side, inhale, left leg rises. As you exhale, scoop the belly and step the foot between the palms at the top of the mat. Drop the back knee, find the traction between the left heel and the right knee, and then pull up through the core, engage the inner thighs as you take the arms over your head. Interlacing the fingers, dropping shoulders away from the ears, and exploring the space in front of the left knee. Good. Using an inhale, start to lift up out of the waist, pull back through the left hip, and exhale to fold down. So again, option to be here, option to sit back onto the heel. Just find a place where you can open up through the back of the left leg. Using your breath, take an inhale, press into the left foot, frame it with the hands, tuck the back toes and push through the heel as you squeeze the inner thighs to the center line and float the arms over your head. Exhale, root down through the left foot, push through the back heel, squeeze the inner thighs, zip up through the pelvic floor. And then take an inhale to rise up straight in the left leg, perhaps taking a little step in with the back foot, grounding the heels and lengthening the spine as you fold all the way down. If you need to readjust your step, you can bring the right foot a little bit closer. Try to square the hips, lengthen through the back of the body. And then walking the hands forward, step the right foot back, press into the palms and reach your left leg all the way up and back. And then place it down to the floor. Let your knees drop as wide as the mat. Push your hips back towards your heels. Take a deep breath in, feel the rib cage inflate. And exhale, big sigh to let it go. Nice, walking the hands back up towards the knees. Just take the feet from underneath you so that the left leg extends out and the sole of the right foot comes to the inside of the left thigh. And if this isn't comfortable for you, you can place the foot lower down. You can also place a block or a cushion, bolster, a blanket underneath the right knee. And this is when your strap's going to come in handy. So we're going to loop the strap, the belt, the towel around the foot. And even if you're quite open, it's good practice to work with a strap just to help us to lengthen the spine a little bit more. Now notice if the inside of the foot is pointing towards you, see if you can push it away. Flex your toes. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Lift up out of your waist and use an exhale to fold down. Keeping the spine straight. And try not to let one shoulder drop down more than the other. See if you can send the chest forward evenly over the left leg. Keep lengthening through the back of the neck. One more breath. And then as you inhale, release the strap. Take the outside of the right foot onto the left thigh. Now flex the toes. Take your hands behind you with the fingertips facing forward and bend your left knee. So rather than letting the fronts of the shoulders drop down, see if you can pull them back and down the body. If it's uncomfortable to have the hands this way, you can turn them the other way. And then just settle into your breath. If the sensation eases off, you can walk the heel a little bit closer towards you or pick up the hips, but try not to sink through the spine, so stay lifted, stay extended. Good, and then begin to heel toe your left foot to the right side. You're going to shuffle the right heel on top of the knee and cradle the right knee in the right hand and the sole of the right foot in the left hand. So if your knee is floating away from the foot, stay here. If the knee is connected by the foot and the shins are parallel, both feet stay flexed, and you can use the hands to just start exploring a fold forwards here. This can be pretty intense in the hips, so just take it easy. There's no rush to be anywhere other than where you are right now. Keeping the back of the neck long. And then inhale to unwind. Walk the hands back up towards you, and this time just the right leg's going to come out. Should be nice and easy. Left sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, grabbing hold of your strap, pushing through the foot. And again, don't be tempted to kind of round down. Instead, sit up, come right to the ends of your strap, your belt, and start to move forwards with the chest. Lengthen through the back of the neck, push through the instep of the right foot. And find your breath. And just notice if it's difficult to find this calm, this meditation on the breath. Or whether you're able to just be here experiencing whatever it is that's showing up. What we're doing here is more than just stretching out the body. We're trying to settle, balance the whole of our system. But it can be unfamiliar. So if it's frustrating, then know that that's perfectly normal. Take an inhale to bring yourself up and let the left foot come onto the right thigh. Flexing the toes, take your hands behind you, bending the knee. Keeping the chest lifted, belly scooped in. And stay active through the left foot. Notice what a difference that makes to the sensation that you can experience here. And then heel toe the foot to the other side. Let the heel come forwards, align the shins, keep both feet flexed. You can just cradle the top leg, or if it comes down, if there's space in the hips, you can let it come down and begin to fold. But try to keep the sit bones rooting to the ground. And then inhale to bring yourself up. Take the hands behind you, fingertips facing forwards. And where your knees were, you place your heels. So feet are hip width apart. Ground down through the hands. Ground down through the feet. And rather than being in your heels, see if you can connect the toes just as much as the heels, the fingertips just as much as the palms. As you root down, lift up without pushing through your belly. Keep toned through the abdomen. And just breathe as you find space through the front of the shoulders. Gently squeezing the glutes. The chin can be tucked, or you can let the head drop back. But really opening up through the front of the body, letting the shoulders draw down the back. Active through the core. If it feels good, you can gently rock forwards and backwards, but just be mindful that the shoulders can be pretty sensitive, so take it easy here. And then letting the hips come down, between the hands. The soles of the feet come together. And you can shuffle the hips a little bit closer to the heels if there's space to do so. Take the hands to the arches of the feet and peel the feet open like a book. Long through the back of the neck, steady with the breath. And then as you inhale, unwind. Shuffle yourself to the center of the mat. Bring your knees into your chest and slowly roll down onto the back of the body. Rocking from side to side. Massage out the lower back. And then slowly letting the limbs come down to the floor, the mat, the carpet, whatever it is that you're on. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, big sigh to let it go. And you can stay here as long as you like. But when you're ready, you gently begin to bring a little bit of awareness, a little bit of movement to the fingers and to the toes. Maybe you take a big stretch of the arms over your head and bring the knees into the chest, squeezing them in tight. Rocking onto the side of your body, just taking a moment here to pause. There's no rush. And without opening the eyes, bringing yourself up to seated. Just taking a couple of moments. Transition to an easy, natural pattern of the breath, maintaining a sense of softness in the body and in the mind, and connecting the hands at the heart center. Take a moment to just be here in stillness with the breath. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed the practice. I'd love to hear all of your comments, so make sure you leave them in the box below. And if you'd like to see more from me, you can subscribe to my channel. I've got lots more to share. See you soon.